a bed in the hospital. Yeah. And we can't hear a word from Health Minister Kamal. Whoa. Black dirty water we had to drink. Was I say clean, but it smelling stink. And my friend, the money, money ain't no problem. My friend, the shouting, money ain't no problem. Whoa. Yeah. You can't even use your phone to dial a prayer. Yeah. All the phones in a mess and it's like nobody care. Whoa. You can't even call the Prime Minister. He dump the phones in the Gulf of Paria. My friend, the shouting, money ain't no problem. Lord, money ain't no problem. The AG started a drive to stop corruption.
Yes, indeed. Of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central in Trinidad, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are streaming on the World Wide Web. Pleasant good day to you. Yes, this is the Monday edition of the Corridor Transformation. Your host, Lennox. I suspect that my co-host, COP, will join me momentarily, but that being as it may, the show has to go on. I trust that he will, in quick order, of course, communicate so that we can have what we call the duel that is unbeatable. The duel that is unbeatable, or the duo that is unbeatable. Yes, indeed, of course, COP and myself. That being as it may, the theme of the songs will tell you that it is about money. And there are some very, very important issues that we have to extrapolate and divulge as best we can by way of analysis. Because it is not sufficient for a government to be in office, whether this one or the previous one, and not account properly. And therefore, of course, you're going to see tonight where it's almost an anticlimax in terms of the Hadid incident or scenario, but there is more to come, and you're going to hear it first here on the Corridor Transformation. But in the meantime, let us, of course, put things in perspective. Once again, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central in Trinidad, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are streaming on the World Wide Web. A pleasant good day to you.
My friend, the money ain't no problem. Money ain't no problem. Millions of dollars going down the drain. I tell you, the airline in a mess and the back.
I'm on the worries, I'm on the trouble. I'm on the worries, I'm on the trouble. Anywhere you go, it's the same crowd.
anybody who is decent.
Wow. Good on, that's good on. Well, of course, that was a break in transmission. I trust that you weren't too perturbed. But of course, we intend, of course, as previous nights, to get a program on tonight. All right. So whether my colleague joins me or not, it will happen.
And we can't hear a word from Health Minister Kamal. Black dirty water we had to drink. Water safe clean, but it smelling stink. And my friend, the money ain't no problem. My friend, the shouting, money ain't no problem. Whoa, yeah. You can't even use your phone to dial a prayer. Yeah. All the phones in a mess and it's like nobody cares.
13 years. 13 years we have been raising the necessary funds to make sure that our party builds a modern headquarters on lands that our party obtained way back in the last century. As your political leader, alongside my colleagues, we work very hard and we work very lawfully and we built up the resources. And today, your party is close to completing the construction of a brand new multi-story building at Bal House, built after 13 years of toil. And we are renovating the old building at the same time. You would think that anybody who is decent will say to a 68-year-old party, well done, because you believe in this country's future. But government, they are downstairs this year, then somebody upstairs the next year, they do a bad the next year. They know that one day soon, we will all gather in Tranquility Street, and you will look in pride and look satisfaction at the building we have built. And on that day, when a new party headquarters is open, it will be a plus for the party, it will be a plus for the country. So in order to know, all of a sudden, without one shred of evidence that they could present to anybody, they start a narrative that contractors and government projects building Bal House. Could you believe that? And that is meant to tarnish the effort that you have made for the last 13 years. I want to ask Rodney Charles today, who called him an appealing political leader, to make public the names of all the contributors. What I want to do is for me to tell them, you give 1,000, so they can harass your daughter if she's working. You give 1 million, they can harass your company. I will tell them today, I have no account to give to Rodney Class and the UNC and the PNN will build this headquarters. And if they know that we have done something wrong, the nearest police station, the Bal House, is police headquarters, corner with that. And if they don't want to corner with that, then they will put it where the monkey put it up. Could you imagine? I must tell them, all the party members who contributed to the building of Bal House. You know we are the only party. 1, 2, 3. Every month, I'm going to name Santana over there. D2. Every councillor, every mayor, every minister, everybody, every month you have to give, before you do anything else, give 5% of your salary to Bal House. That is a requirement in the PNM, because we say to office holders, it is through the party that you got that office.
So, there we go as an introduction. You see, you would ask the question, I'm sure, why am I going there? Well, I'm going there because there may be an issue that may have been overlooked by some of you who are not that, let's say, discerning. Yeah, who are not very accurate with the latest developments that are taking place in the country. Well, I want to tell you that if you look in today's Express, there is an article. Because remember, last week I think it was, I was intimating to an individual saying, but this thing looking like an anticlimax. I expected that people like Hadid will be called to book, so to speak, for whatever reason, based on what the Attorney General and the Prime Minister would have been saying for some time now. What I didn't expect is that the charge would have been, or the issue would have been, conspiracy to murder. You see, my common sense would have told me, and still do, that one expected something like money laundering, something like corruption, something like even fraud, that kind of white-collar crime, not a blue-collar crime. And we have seen that being unfolded in the public. The warrants that were issued stated categorically, according to the various media investigators or investigations, that it is about a conspiracy to murder. So to me, that does not, or is not congruent. It is not consistent with the expectation of white-collar crime, because that is a blue-collar crime. Conspiracy to murder is a blue-collar crime. It is not about attempting to get unfairly wealth and augmenting of or garnering resources that you simply do not deserve or you have not worked for, and by the stroke of a pen or by being connected to the right elements in and or out of government, that you would get that kind of what I consider artificial or propelling to wealth, to influence, and to, of course, rubbing shoulders with the shakers and movers in the society. I thought that that was an anticlimax, if it is that big fish is being questioned for conspiracy to murder. But I want you to listen to this. In today's Express, many of you may not have seen it or read it. So let me bring it to your attention now, so you'll get an appreciation as to where I am coming from in terms of what I expected in relation to the big fish or the white collar crime scenario that we have been told about and expect, at least I expect, that the white collar crime aspect will be the focus and not that of blue collar crime. But listen to this. Listen to this. Yes, boy, just a minute, I'll get a little difficulty here. What's happening here, right? All right, so let's go again. Right. So let's see what's happening here now. Yes.
Express News 29. June 2026. Magistrate next. Intelligence report alleges bribes for favorable rulings. By Anna Ramdas. The arrest of a sitting magistrate is said to be imminent as law enforcement intensifies its crackdown on white-collar crime in Trinidad and Tobago. The impending high-profile arrest follows the issuance of preventive detention orders, PDOs, against businessman Dominic Hadid, 52, his wife, Genevieve, also called Genevieve, 42, and relative Star Savka, 69, over allegations of a conspiracy to assassinate senior government officials. The Express was last week reliably informed by senior national security officials that intelligence gathered locally and internationally points to a top-ranking member of the judiciary, with investigators allegedly uncovering a paper trail of money obtained through bribes in exchange for favorable court rulings. The Express was informed that, based on an intelligence report dated June 2026, the magistrate has been deemed to be compromised and co-opted by foreign nationals residing in Trinidad and Tobago and is alleged to have facilitated money laundering. The intelligence report cites at least 2 specific cases in which the magistrate allegedly received bribes amounting to tens of thousands of United States, US, dollars in exchange for favorable rulings. One case involved proceedings in which a substantial amount of local and foreign currency was seized by police. The magistrate allegedly ordered that all of the money be returned to the individual who is suspected of paying a bribe in exchange for that ruling. The intelligence report states that, despite compelling arguments by the Financial Investigations Bureau, FIB, regarding the seized cash and the need for further investigations, the magistrate allegedly ordered that the money be returned, thereby facilitating money laundering by directing that it be released through the issuance of a certified government check. The Express was also informed that the magistrate imposed a lenient sentence on another individual charged with possession of excess ammunition. According to the intelligence obtained, a cash bribe of a specified amount in US currency was allegedly paid to the magistrate, who subsequently ruled that the firearms be returned to the accused. The accused was placed on a cash bond and released. National security officials told the Express that the magistrate maintains bank accounts in the United States and possibly Panama. Preliminary investigations into those accounts have reportedly found that it was quite clear the magistrate was living beyond their means and possessed substantial unexplained wealth when compared with his lawful income. The intelligence report details cash transactions conducted in the United States and deposits made into the accounts. Politicians, contractors under probe too. In addition to the magistrate's imminent arrest, the Express was informed that further arrests are expected as investigations continue into certain political operatives, businessmen, and contractors allegedly involved in large-scale corruption linked to the construction of a well-known building in the capital city. These individuals have reportedly been named in intelligence reports, and several are expected to be detained for questioning in the coming weeks as the investigation progresses. Local law enforcement agencies have been actively investigating the project and have already amassed a paper trail of large cash and check transactions connected to the construction. The investigations are being conducted under several pieces of legislation, including the Unexplained Wealth provisions of the Civil Asset Recovery and Management and Unexplained Wealth Act. Preliminary investigations have allegedly uncovered evidence that funds connected to the construction project originated from specified offenses and that there is evidence suggesting the contract sums were artificially reduced. Investigators also believe there is evidence suggesting that certain contractors, including some who are political operatives, received favorable state contracts from which they financially benefited and, in turn, provided inducements. The law and corruption.
I better pause here for my colleague. Yes, I am seeing you, my friend. I'm seeing you. Let's test to make sure. Are you hearing me loud and clear? COP? COP, are you hearing me loud and clear? COP?
Nah, not hearing you.
All right, let's see what's the issue here. All right.
I hear you at all.
Okay. That ought not to be. That ought not to be. Let me see why that is happening. All right, let's see. You hear me now?
Loud and clear.
All right, great.
Loud and clear.
I got a little timid there. Say, well, like Murphy, his law want to take over today, but I said no, not at all, because we expect that to hear more of what we are now exposing. But before we go there, let me just, by way of courtesy, ask you to say your opening remarks. I think you might have heard some of the things that I want to put on the table tonight. Of course, in the beginning, I did refer to the fact that here it is, you have the Hadids that are being questioned by the law enforcement, but for a blue-collar crime scenario. And based on what we know, and based on what we were told, we expected that it would have been for white-collar, let's say, concerns, let me put it that way, concerns or possible infringement. But yet still we have this blue-collar crime scenario of conspiracy to murder. So one would have expected something like money laundering, something like possibly fraud, that kind of situation as far as the investigation is concerned. But when you delve into it further, what came to mind is what was in that Express article, where it is said that a magistrate is next and a number of other players in the society suggesting white-collar crime is now being focused upon by the police in this, of course, state of emergency. So I thought I should just get your input before I continue with the article that I was playing earlier.
Good night to you, Lennox. Good night to you, Lennox, and to your family. Good night to you, Lennox. Good night to you, Lennox, and to your family. Listeners, good night to all the listeners and viewers of the East-West Corridor. Good night. Welcome. Well, the first part I want to address, the PNM will put their hands on this system to break down everything, and we get problem right through. Faris Alwari will keep his hands off at the system. You see, we are accustomed classifying white-collar crime, and we know about white-collar crime and why leaders and authority don't bring down white-collar crime. Yes, we know about white-collar crime, but one of the most heinous crime is blue-collar crime and things. Blue-collar crime, there's white-collar crime, there's allowed lawlessness. Blue-collar crime, there's cause people to be buried and burned. Blue-collar crime, and with this media release and thing, we just had to let the court prevail, let the court do the job, and let me see the result out of it. Because if we go back in history, Patrick Manning speak about the big fish and never call no names about the big fish and and those allegations and them is serious allegations. We see Haiti suffer those same. We see what happened to Haiti, Prime Minister.
Yeah.
And we have to give our intelligence in this country 10 out of 10 for the work that they're doing, for the information, the evidence that we see coming out right now. And I would say 75% of this population really want white-collar crime to go down. Well, I like the color you choose, blue-collar crime to go down. We need gang violence to go down. And citizens of Trinidad and Tobago and you, the PNM, and everybody who asks them question, when the big boys and them, when the millionaires and them get hold, all of a sudden you're hearing all some big boys and them coming and asking questions as if they vex. But 75% of this population want a clean TNT. Without a clean TNT, we will be in problem right through. We will be, and I watch me, Lennox,
yes,
and listeners of the Corridor Transformation. We have a senior citizen Prime Minister. We have a senior citizen Attorney General. Them don't want no luxury. Them don't need luxury again. Them want equality for all now. Them want a clean TNT. Misconduct in public office must be eradicated. and people must be held accountable. People must be held accountable. You see what I'm talking about, the judicial system now? And for years, we know it a problem, and for years, they're saying clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. Why somebody look, Tanti Kamala take the bull by its horn? They take the bull by its horn now and looking to clean up the country. The ones who vex it, all you hush all your blasted mouth and stay quiet. All you watch, all you keep a blind eye to the things that matters in this country for over 65 years. When good people keep a blind eye to the things that matter, they ain't no blasted good people. Kamala Prasad Bisasa, the Honorable Prime Minister, he decided to keep a blind eye. The Attorney General tell us in Parliament that they're not going to keep a blind eye. It ain't no 1% big, it ain't no 6, it ain't no 7, it ain't no 8, it ain't no numbers. Inequality for all and for justice for all. And to have a clean country. And that is what we're looking for. Lennox Smith.
Well said, man. Well said, man. I couldn't say it better. And of course, I'm sure that the message would not have flown over anybody's head. I think it was totally grassroots. But of course, the middle, the upper, and whatever station in life you may be at this point in time, certainly that kind of language would resonate with every single citizen, including, of course, the girls and boys that are in secondary or primary school at a certain level, of course, in order for them to comprehend what was said, because it is about the rule of law.
Rule of law.
Yes, it is about justice. It is about making certain that you have access, equal access to the judiciary, and therefore, once you have those parameters properly secured, then of course justice will take its natural course, and therefore equity in the system will certainly be the beneficiary, as every single citizen would be seen as equal. So there is no higher or lower, but about, with certain exceptions, we know that the president, when he or she is in office, that she cannot be prosecuted for anything at all, literally. But when she comes out, or he or she comes out of office, certainly. So with that few exceptions, very few exceptions, because the prime minister is subjected to all of the laws as everybody else in Trinidad and Tobago. So that I think COP, you should go to the top of the class. I think that analysis is wonderful. Go ahead.
If the prime, they could hold it up to the prime minister to be accountable.
That's
so
right.
is the Hadid and them too.
Wonderful.
Everybody.
Addendum. There is no one that is above the law. The rule of law means all are equal before the law. Of course, we would defend to the hilt the right for due process, meaning that if you are accused, then you should go before an independent tribunal and defend yourself. And that is the process that one expects with an independent tribunal, which I think our judicial system, by and large, subscribe to. But of course, we have some not too good news as far as that part of the system is concerned. Listen to this.
Express News 29th, June 2026. Magistrate next. Intelligence report alleges bribes for favorable rulings. By Anna Ramdas. The arrest of a sitting magistrate is said to be imminent as law enforcement intensifies its crackdown on white-collar crime in Trinidad and Tobago. The impending high-profile arrest follows the issuance of preventive detention orders, PDOs, against businessman Dominic Hadid, 52, his wife, Genevieve, also called Genevieve, 42, and relative Star Savka, 69, over allegations of a conspiracy to assassinate senior government officials. The Express was last week reliably informed by senior national security officials that intelligence gathered locally and internationally points to a top-ranking member of the judiciary, with investigators allegedly uncovering a paper trail of money obtained through bribes in exchange for favorable court rulings. The Express was informed that, based on an intelligence report dated June 2026, the magistrate has been deemed to be compromised and co-opted by foreign nationals residing in Trinidad and Tobago and is alleged to have facilitated money laundering. The intelligence report cites at least 2 specific cases in which the magistrate allegedly received bribes amounting to tens of thousands of United States, US, dollars in exchange for favorable rulings. One case involved proceedings in which a substantial amount of local and foreign currency was seized by police. The magistrate allegedly ordered that all of the money be returned to the individual who is suspected of paying a bribe in exchange for that ruling. The intelligence report states that, despite compelling arguments by the Financial Investigations Bureau, FIB, regarding the seized cash and the need for further investigations, the magistrate allegedly ordered that the money be returned, thereby facilitating money laundering by directing that it be released through the issuance of a certified government check. The Express was also informed that the magistrate imposed a lenient sentence on another individual charged with possession of excess ammunition. According to the intelligence obtained, a cash bribe of a specified amount in U.S. currency was allegedly paid to the magistrate, who subsequently ruled that the firearms be returned to the accused. The accused was placed on a cash bond and released. National security officials told the Express that the magistrate maintains bank accounts in the United States and possibly Panama. Preliminary investigations into those accounts have reportedly found that it was quite clear the magistrate was living beyond their means and possessed substantial unexplained wealth when compared with his lawful income. The intelligence report details cash transactions conducted in the United States and deposits made into the accounts. Politicians, contractors under probe too. In addition to the magistrate's imminent arrest, the Express was informed that further arrests are expected as investigations continue into certain political operatives, businessmen, and contractors allegedly involved in large-scale corruption linked to the construction of a well-known building in the capital city. These individuals have reportedly been named in intelligence reports, and several are expected to be detained for questioning in the coming weeks as the investigation progresses. Local law enforcement agencies have been actively investigating the project and have already amassed a paper trail of large cash and check transactions connected to the construction. The investigations are being conducted under several pieces of legislation, including the unexplained wealth provisions of the Civil Asset Recovery and Management.
So, I just let me pause here before we get into the legalistic bases for, of course, the investigation to pursue under, of course, the force of law. So, a building has been the beneficiary of what the article is claiming to be illicit funds. And I'm saying here from a personal perspective here, I was the one through the ground report to investigate from start to finish the construction of Bal House. I don't know if that is the building they are referring to, but it certainly is in Port of Spain, and it's certainly contrary to what the officials who would have been managing the affairs of the PNM at the time said based on our investigations. What we know for sure, and you will see it, of course, in the video that is behind us, you will see for sure where Josamco, one of the subsidiaries of Junior Sammy group of companies, was pouring concrete not on the superstructure, but on the infrastructure, on the basement. Pouring concrete there, road cordon off in front of Bal House, and that was being poured. And of course, it was the company that got the contract, at least part of the contracts that was issued for the extension of the highway to Point Fortin, and that bridge that was supposed to be constructed over one of the rivers traversing that particular roadway fell into the swamp below. We don't know yet what has transpired, but what we know for sure is that Dr. Rowley, as head of the PNM and head of government at the time, claimed
and National Security Council.
Yes, that not one contractor contracted by the government at the time had worked on Bal House. You know what I say? Dr. Rowley said that not one, especially at the last rally that they had at Constantine Park, I believe it was, indicating and confirming that it was things like raffle and contribution by individuals. Individuals who would have gotten government offices, political office. I have no problem. We have always said that political office must be designated and be exclusive to the persons who are attached to the party in power, simply because the principle is that if they are given all that is required to deliver to the people, then they must have their own people in political office. But outside of that, they have to deliver based on the office that they would hold to the wider population, irregardless of political association or preference. That is the proviso that I would have stated, and I think that is applicable in every democracy. Whether it be Donald Trump, you can't expect Donald Trump to employ as his Secretary of State the person who Biden had, and of course some of his close associates. Obviously, that is the fundamental principle. So it is applicable all over the place. But we have a phone call. I omitted to talk about the phone. Yes, we have to continue with the handset, but I think it's better than nothing. So let's go to the line. A pleasant good night to welcome to the corridor.
A pleasant good night to you, Uncle Lennox, and all the listeners. In Jesus' name, we have to pray for this country to
Yes,
see
man.
that more. You see that fella dressed up in white there?
Yeah.
That we fight he. And I see you in blue, you fighting that and all too. And anything look like that fella down there, we're looking for them too. So here we're going to everybody. Listen.
Faizabad, good night to you,
He
Faizabad.
said the bridge, but it's not a bridge, the road collapsed. And just imagine a green and red truck. You know what like that fella in the white. You call his son Junior, right? And Uncle Lennox's son, you call him. Then he's what is his name again? Joshua.
Yes.
But you said Lennox Junior.
Yes.
But anyway, if my father named Sammy, I will be what?
Well, you'll be Junior Sammy.
Right. Okay. So I just said, yeah. So I just said that, right? So I would have been Junior to my father, right?
I hear
But
you.
the nice thing about it, me is not related. So a disclaimer.
Okay,
Here
right,
what going
beautiful.
on.
So you disclaim, right?
Fellas, merchant, a big contractor, right? When UNC lost come out of power, after giving small man a little box train, they have started to build box train, and then you see that they start pumping concrete. They see the truck, the big pump, and we wonder how they get all them contract, and 20 people qualify for the same work, but they get it. But you know what the nice thing about it? I like what you said tonight. You see, when they want to play smart with foolishness, right? And these fellas and them, and the Honorable Miss Kamala Prasad Bisasa, SC, right? Say the question in Parliament. Up to this day, Neha Penny as the interim leader at the PNM come out and debunk it, not even Keith Rowley, and not even Swordfish from Spain South, not even Karim, and the next one, Lavelle, waiting for what to be here in Lavante. They come and debunk it. Why? Or come and debunk that thing? But you know what is the nice thing about it? If I like the white in the corner there, since I know he talking on radio and listening to you, right? He always talking. The day a government to fight white collar crime in this, and when what the hierarchies and the big boys and the big one, the rich one, then some people come out and say I is the better one, I dominate that like the white. Then who come out and say that is the one that is number one in the world, and we in a percentage. So here what's going on. Them who claim them is the supreme and the elite. No, you're seeing that everybody say same old government changes exchange. Nobody are going behind the people who are in poverty. But my honorable esteemed political leader and Prime Minister, the most honorable, Ms. Kamala Prasad Bisasa say in Barataria, in the Savannah, in the blazing hot sun, that when I am elected, I will go behind them white collar crime and all the wrongdoers who have misappropriated this country and have all in poverty. Just imagine, Uncle Lennox, for 10 years, you brain behind these people, asking them to give a little help to the vulnerable, give you a little kakada, to give a little scholarship, to uplift the citizens in your area. They're so faithful. The only person I know was faithful to Jesus was the prostitute. She washed her hair, the foot, and wiped it when she had and said, Master, forgive me. And she was loyal to him. Teacher, betray him before the cock crow. Peter, the man who said, I will give up my life. The people now want to say, I will give up my life for PNM and Rowley. So, Uncle Lennox, I like what you're saying, you know. But you know, long time you used to hide to say the 1% is when Roger campaigning against the MA. What Rowley promised him he will do in Petrochur before he mash it up and betray him and close him off. Right? Is then this when he 1% count and said that is the 1%. He said that is he 1% and we started to know who is the 1%. Because never identified themselves, we didn't only know about the rich people and the people who get the only contract. But Uncle Lennox and COPD Konade, I want to ask you, what is the procurement and the way of bidding to get a contract? How it is, Uncle Lennox, under the PNM, could not get a contract to sweep up or supply meals to the jail? Yeah? How it is business and companies, they get it all the work by until I understand it had a jet from WGM, yeah? Fly people from Trinidad to Las Vegas, so I went in by. Just imagine, when I could get mixed up, right? But Uncle Lennox, here what's going on. Tell that alien, next time when you put him on the mic, slow down all the background music, yeah? Because he's talking like an alien, that's my little show. But they come in through clear and nice, and after that, good night. Tell them as it is.
I hear you, my friend. Yes, my friend. Yes, my friend.
All right, sir, Faisal. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that was initial glitches. But let's hear what.
No, but you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
But what we are speculating now is the building that the article speaks of cannot continue. It has stalled. It is now being subjected to the whims and fancy of nature. In other words, it's being overgrown, vine all over the place. And I want to say that we had predicted that on the ground report, that as soon as the PNM gets out of office, that building will no longer be able to continue. But it must stay there as a lasting example of corruption, nepotism, cronyism, and all of the other iniquities that a government would have, a party in office would have abused to the detriment of the public and the nation. But let's go to the line. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hello, good night, Mr. Lennox and COP and the corridor transformation family.
Yes, man.
Good night to you, KFC.
The UNC government going at big men in the society who we used to call
not the UNC government, the police service.
1% and then we used to call them man was it?
Yes.
Will you big name used to call them?
Yes, the 1%, yes, and they call themselves that, in fact. That's how we get to know, and of course.
The 1% used to call them some big man was going at and thing in it.
Yeah.
But I see the 1% man they get locked up there for inquiries for this and that, and next get inquiries some money, understand that? All that money that they run away from poor black African people, that we get to make any part of that money.
Well, there is, you would see tonight, you will learn tonight that among the various legislations that pieces of law or legislation that is being focused on by the police, it includes, of course, follow the money. There is a piece of legislation called follow the money. Listen carefully tonight and you would see that it appears that there is a comprehensive strategy to make certain that we get back, because all of that is designed to get back state resources that would have been illegally deposited in the hands of private concerns.
Well, Lennox, I'm coming from work today and I take a piece of the ground report. I selected through the ground report, the TT on the bus. Or no longer they and talk city, all longer there, so that just have a jacket and time and go in the station.
No. You remember we had. You remember we had this organization.
Kingsley had a program today. Me talk to the Kingsley keeping a program today and see all this mold because all they was talking about the European, the CPEP and all them kind of thing. I want to tell Kingsley and them up here and for the last 30 something When I was going political meeting with Kingsley, people tell me to don't come to meeting with Kingsley and them. Kingsley was crying, saying the worst when I take back your contract. We going to do and we going to do and play like it's the best UNC and play like Bappen. You run up on Mike, kick your sweater, man. Lennox, the guy working here, going 4 months now to come visit me.
Yeah, but I want to tell you.
On social media.
Yeah, but I want to tell you this. Let me be
categorical. I pay yet, you know, Lennox.
You get paid yet? All right.
Months, you know.
Okay.
And I hear the Honorable Minister Shaman talking about telling the Port of Spain Corporation pay the workers, and that ministry not paying the workers, you know. Look at this morning, we cutting grass. A man had to be running down the highway naked. A behind them, 3 people get bite of ambulance come for him. And people only complaining about that children and that newborn baby and they didn't get 10 pay. And we're not talking about that.
All right. But
look at the moving on people from Wassa into AGC. One of your colleagues there, nasty, wicked man heavy, and them was on 91.9. I had a girl working in AGC. I'm glad for them. I want a permanent job. Nobody can give me no work. Why I work so hard? I thank for the opportunity. Why cutting grass? We're going to be working at 4 or 5 in the morning. I mean, getting pay. And when they're talking, people say talking the government bad. But I was cussing Rowley and shorting them for the last 9 years, you know. So all who play me on just I play like they want to assist me, they go by the office and they play like they're thinking, they play like they know it's me and this and that. God don't sleep.
Of course.
Bless.
Of course. And I want to tell you to add, all unfair games will be played over. Have no fear. This life is a cycle, not just a circle, but a cycle, and that will come to fruition. Of course, you are quite right, and I want to say categorically that anybody who try to impugn or try to somehow generate a notion that the members or the creators of the ground report are different to what everybody knows us to be, whether in opposition or in government, then I say that I pity them. I pity them. That's all I would want to say. I pity them. Because there is none that is as constant as the Northern Star and as immutable as a cent, meaning that a cent can't change, than the members of and the ground report as an entity in this country. In fact, we lead and others follow. And now that they have followed, some believe that somehow they can arrogate unto themselves the position of numero uno. No, history cannot be rewritten in that way. That is a revision of history or an attempt in futility, of course, to try to reverse history. So at the appropriate time, the recognition will come. We will continue to be at the forefront and not, of course, as convenient as some would prefer to be and suddenly arrogate unto themselves the consistency equal to that of the ground report. Impossible. And I'm sure that the conscientious and the knowledgeable and those who have followed and would have had to over the years of the torture and the assiduous and the different initiatives that we would have taken as a collective and as individuals. None. And I say so without fear of contradiction. None. I say so in a universal context. None could beat that. How we are treated, of course, will determine whether or not that kind of loyalty, that kind of indivisible loyalty would be treated. Would be treated and, of course, would be considered at the appropriate time. I have supreme confidence in the leadership of the coalition of interests and the UNC leadership at this point. Let us go straight to the video that is behind us now, And just to put things in perspective, and then we will revert back to the various laws that the law enforcement are using to treat with white collar criminal behavior as we know it to be.
For the last 13 years, 13 years, you PNM members, many of you dipped your hands in your pocket over the last 13 years. 13 years we have been raising the necessary funds to...
Now, I want to pause here because it's important that we put things in perspective. You see, the PNM would have been in office longer than for 13 years prior, but they weren't able to accumulate in nearly 30 years over $100 million to build that monstrosity that we saw on Balize grounds. That's one. Secondly, when Dr. Rowley came into office in 2015, having taken over the PNM just before that, and of course made those what I consider to be reprehensible and unpardonable statements of some pieces of paper that he brought into the parliament, accusing a sitting prime minister of literally murder, conspiring to murder, and therefore, in my view, subjecting himself to the highest punishment that any country can give, which is treason. But that is a different matter. We will deal with that on a subsequent program. But the point I am making is those emails, those fake pieces of paper is what I am concerned with here. Go ahead, my friend.
Eric William, couldn't that thief $100 million from our treasury to build Balize House? George Chambers, couldn't that thief $100 million to build Balize House? Patrick Manning, last 2 terms, he could not thief that money because you get locked up, misconduct in public office. The man who has used honey goat weed, the Gunta raised $100 million by selling barbecue tickets. By selling barbecue tickets, and every member, councillor, minister had to put 5% of the money to build Balize House.
In 13 years.
In 13 years.
But it is even much more what I consider to be heinous and reprehensible, because he said when he
was disgusting.
Yeah, when he got the party under his wing, so to speak, it was owing over $5 million. That's the point I want to make. In addition to some other monies for publicity and for media houses in Trinidad and Tobago. Oh, so close to $6 million it was owing, and yet still, in less than 13 years, he was able to acquire, now being in government from 2015 to the 28th of April last year, he was able to garner over $100 million to construct that monstrosity in a dual context. He renovated, of course, which that part of it is completed. The old, what I consider be zombie-looking part of Balize House, and then he pursued the construction by utilizing the car park now of a 5-story monstrosity of steel, iron, brick, mortar, and of course glass that is still to be completed, and a living monument as to corruption, nepotism, cronyism, and misbehavior in public office. And I suspect that in that Express article today, it is that building in Port of Spain that is the focus, or is attracting the attention for white-collar crime scenarios in Trinidad, and quite apart from the magistrate.
It also attracting the attention of rodents, rats, and cockroach and snakes. It all that bush that building have, and the corporation had to take charge and give them a notice to clean that building.
That's right.
Otherwise, the corporation can move in and clean it. And if they had to do that 3 times, Just as the private citizen that could seize the property. But that building, they had to do some kind of investigation, and that building, where they really get that money. And you remember we did say we want that building to be a soup kitchen?
Yes, yeah, we did say that, but whether or not, because let's face it, party is a private entity.
Find a way. It had misconduct in public office, or the thief taxpayers' money to build that building over there. This government need to find a way to find out which part they get the money, who they get the money from, where that the misconduct in public office, and let me open a soup kitchen over there. Take that building from them.
I concur. But let me reiterate again. When Dr. Rowley inherited the P&M, he made it very, very clear that he inherited a debt of $5 million.
Yes,
he is yet to any one of them, including Penelope Beckers, to tell us how that debt could have been amortized. And at the same time, you find over $100 million to build that monstrosity.
And there was OMPTSC $4 million.
That has remained what I consider to be at a standstill after they would have demitted office. That is what
$100 million. $100 million done. So let's get 50 million again.
Yes, so let's continue.
Make sure that our party builds a modern headquarters on lands that our party obtained way back in the last century. As your political leader, alongside my colleagues, we work very hard and we work very lawfully and we built up the resources. And today, your party is close to completing the construction of a brand new multi-story building at Bal House, built after 13 years of toil. And we are renovating the old building at the same time. You would think that anybody who is decent will say to a 68-year-old party, well done, because you believe in this country's future. But no, they are going to sell this year, then somebody else sells the next year, they will not buy the next year. They know that one day soon, we will all gather in Tranquility Street, and you will look in pride and look satisfaction at the building you have built. And on that day, when a new party headquarters is open, it will be a plus for the party, it will be a plus for the country. So in order to know, all of a sudden, without one shred of evidence that they could present to anybody, they start a narrative that contractors and government projects building Bal House. Would you believe that? And that is meant to...
Let me pause here. There it is, of course, Jusamco's concrete equipment, pouring concrete. You'll notice there is no steel upright as yet. Pouring concrete on the foundation outside Tranquility Street. Look, the what I consider to be the Dracula or the devilish building just in the background there, but in the foreground you're seeing, of course, a Jusamco vehicle. And mind you, this is public knowledge. Judah Samuel and them could do nothing about it because they were so enthused, they were so committed to that project that they took out, I think, a middle page ad. And that is where this particular picture came from. A middle page ad showing that they were assisting or they were pouring concrete on Bal House in its foundational iteration, in its foundational development or construction.
They know they was giving the public evidence.
Yes, the same company that, of course, caused, by way of their poor construction work, the collapse of a section of the highway to Point Fortin in the awaiting swamp below. And we are yet to find out who will generate or take the responsibility for compensating the state and the treasury for that, what I consider to be poor and shoddy work. But nothing could obfuscate Nothing could take away. Watch, people. Jusamco pouring concrete on the foundation. There is no steel uprights. Notice that as yet. That is how virgin, that is how initial that exercise was. But yet still, you just heard the then Prime Minister say not a contractor contracted by the government worked on Bal House. I don't think I can say anything more. Let's go to the line. Let's go to the line. Let's go.
They said that was a donation.
A pleasant good night to welcome to the corridor. But he said none never worked. So that is a clear statement. Good morning. Sorry. Good night. Hello? Hello? All right. There's a lost that one. All right. That person probably was phone shy. Yes. So that is the reality. Let's continue to hear this, what I consider to be despicable. This person who clearly has no sense of moral and ethics and would damage Trinidad and Tobago's reputation and would, of course, undermine, though there may be some good people in the PNM, well, he has, of course, overcome and overwhelmed all of that because the PNM can only be seen as a corrupt bunch of opportunistic political parasites. And we see them, of course, parading up and down the country today, suggesting that somehow they are holier than thou.
And them good people and them in the PNM is just good to stay away from.
I want to ask Rodney Charles today, who called him the PNM political leader, to make public the names of all the contributors. What I want to do is for me to tell them, you give 1,000, so they can harass your daughter if she's working. You give 1 million, they can harass your company. I will tell them today, I have no account to give to Rodney Charles and the UNC and the PNM will build this headquarters. And if they know that we have done something.
Well, if he has no account to Rodney Charles and whosoever else he mentioned, he has to damn well account to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And I noticed that he studiously left that out. Well, my friend, the time has reached, in the fullness of time and in the flux of time, because unfair games must be played over one, and who would have done damage and pain and ache and agony and stress to the people will ultimately have to pay the price, because there's too many innocents in Trinidad and Tobago for that debase and that evil to go not just unchallenged, but to go on, not just punished, but to be in a state of total and absolute hatred for those who would have done such dastard acts to the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
The nearest police station, the Bal House, is police headquarters, corner with that. And if you don't want to corner with that, then you put it where the monkey, put it up.
That level of arrogance.
Could you imagine? I must tell them, all the party members who contributed to the building of Bal House. You know we are the only party. 1, 2, 3. Every month, I'm going to name something over there. D2. Every councillor, every mayor, every minister, everybody, every month you have to give, before you do anything else, give 5% of your salary to Bal House. That is a requirement in the PNM, because we say to office holders, it is through the party that you got that office.
And you would have noticed, my friend, that he brought everybody in it. So it is a conspiracy, a cesspool of conspirators. And he made certain that he mentioned certain elements, which would have included Penelope Beckles, so that nobody could step outside because they too will be caught in that net of culpability. Net of culpability. I want to get your comments, my friend, before, of course, we revert back to legal parameters.
I like the snakes and them that you were showing in the pit here. I like the snake, but that's what the PNM really have. Really have a bunch of snakes biting up each other. I would really like to see the investigate Balize House because watch man, what a political party doing with a building like that? Eh?
Yeah. In small Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, what a political party. When Keith Rowley entered office, it's not just $5 million they was owing. They was owing PTSD too. And after 10 years, look at the kind of building them put up over there. Them had a constitutional responsibility to fix the East-West corridor, to fix Lavantil and the PNM areas. You know. Them bring them community right down and build $100 million building. You know. Them had a constitutional responsibility to fix all the roads and drains and bridges into the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Them deny we that. And them build their own private business. You know. And that's what this nasty goat man and his family telling me, you know.
Yes, yes. But I'll give you more. You see, because as I said, I was the man responsible for monitoring that particular project. I'll give you more.
I know from the ground report right through every day.
Yes, there are two things that I want to tell you that most people wouldn't know. Is news to them now. You see the earth that they excavated to generate the foundation where you saw Jusamco pouring concrete? Well, the earth from there was deposited on the premises that now houses, or put another way, where the Ministry of Social Development on Tragridge Road is now being constructed. And the question at the time was, well, that whatever government building is to be constructed there, because remember, it was desperados that occupied that parcel of land, which formerly housed the Trinidad and Tobago Printry, so people get a better idea as to what we are talking about or where we are talking about. Desperados was given there, but Desperados had to be removed to go to Nelson Street. And of course, the argument was, why would you move Desperados from a place that is relatively safe from all of the shenanigans relating to gang warfare and so on, and put them smack in the middle? But that's for another time. I don't want to lose track of the fact of this monstrosity that was constructed and the possibility that the law enforcement would have had their eyes on that now, focusing on that now as a symbol of white-collar crime benefiting. But let me tell you, the earth from there was deposited there. From Balize House, foundation was deposited there. And I asked the question when I saw it being moved and being deposited there. Who would be responsible? Would the party be now responsible for the removal of those material that would have been deposited there? Because obviously you would have to build a foundation, even if it's an underground car park, as the case may be, as normal, just as Balize House. And who would be now responsible for it? Because that is a party. It is not the government. So that is a party project. Balize House. How come only depositing material at a government site? And there's another issue as well, that the company that was on site with its site office on the southern side of the construction site that is still now Balize House under construction, but daunted now, stop, pause, I would say. But I'm saying that on the southern side, they actually commandeered, because next to that, adjoining the fence that separates Balize House grounds or the car park and Tranquility Government was a fence. Well, they moved the fence and encroached on Tranquility Government School. That is how wicked these people are. So in order to generate their self-aggrandizement and to give them a monument that clearly is nestled in vanity. Vanity, to manifest their vanity. They didn't mind discommoding or inconveniencing the tranquility government school students and the teachers. And I want to say this. That came to my attention because a letter was sent to me. No, not a letter, but a telephone call I answered. And a teacher said that, listen, here it is, we utilize that part of the premises to generate and to have some peace and quiet, and sometimes to generate schoolwork for the students. Teachers assemble there, yet still, that was commanded by the PNM to build its private so-called Bal House. And Rowley has the audacity to boast and talk about people jealousy for engaging in taking advantage of the treasury because you're simply in office at the time. Haul all your tail. Penlu Beckles, you better account. And let me tell you this. I went further. When the teachers told me that, I went through the Freedom of Information Act, and don't get me vexed before I produced the damn document, you know. I asked the question of the Ministry of Education, who gave Bal House the permission to commandeer a portion of that property to facilitate the construction of Bal House. And they sat back and said, I'm going to read it for you probably tomorrow, I'll find it. They said that they don't know and they cannot identify who, etc., etc. Then we learned that the principal, yes, according to you, the principal, whether you are current or you have resigned, principal has some relationship with the party, and that is how he arrogated unto himself to facilitate Bal House at the expense or at the risk of the children and the teachers in terms of utilizing in totality that premises called Tranquility Government Secondary School. Yes, people, we know all of that. So therefore, I am not surprised if a building in Port of Spain is now being investigated for the purposes we mentioned earlier. And just in case you just joined us, we'll go back, of course, just to the top, and then we will continue with the legal parameters that are being discussed in terms of that building in an article in the Express, which will talk about building that is being investigated by the police. So let me just go just about here so to see whether or not I catch it. All right.
Co-opted by foreign nationals residing in Trinidad and Tobago and is alleged to have facilitated money laundering. The intelligence report cites at least 2 specific cases in which the magistrate allegedly received bribes amounting to tens of thousands of United States, U.S. dollars in exchange for favorable rulings.
So just in case you just joined us, that is one white-collar scenario that the police is investigating, a magistrate. But before long, you will get, of course, the specific building. They didn't give a name, but I mean, we are on the ground report and we have the right to speculate until, of course, the verification comes. But the police is very cagey these days, and they keep their information close to their chest. But we have a duty. It
we
is,
can
of
ask
course, a part
question.
of journalistic elasticity to form an opinion. That's the opinion we are forming. It is that building.
One case involved proceedings in which a substantial amount of local and foreign currency was seized by police. The magistrate allegedly ordered that all of the money be returned to the individual who is suspected of paying a bribe in exchange for that ruling. The intelligence report states that, despite compelling arguments by the Financial Investigations Bureau, FIB, regarding the seized cash and the need for further investigations, the magistrate allegedly ordered that the money be returned, thereby facilitating money laundering by directing that it be released through the issuance of a certified government check. The Express was also informed that the magistrate imposed a lenient sentence on another individual charged with possession of excess ammunition. According to the intelligence obtained, a cash bribe of a specified amount in U.S. currency was allegedly paid to the magistrate, who subsequently ruled that the firearms be returned to the accused. The accused was placed on a cash bond and released. National security officials told the Express that the magistrate maintains bank accounts in the United States and possibly Panama. Preliminary investigations into those accounts have reportedly found that it was quite clear the magistrate was living beyond their means and possessed substantial unexplained wealth when compared with his lawful income. The intelligence report details cash transactions conducted in the United States and deposits made into the accounts. Politicians, contractors under probe too. In addition to the magistrate's imminent arrest, the Express was informed that further arrests are expected as investigations continue into certain political operatives, businessmen, and contractors allegedly involved in large-scale corruption linked to the construction of a well-known building in the capital city.
There you go.
The construction of a well-known building in the capital city.
Yeah, let's play
This
that
show
over
is not
again.
the market.
This
show is not in the market that was talking about.
Well, that's a public building, and I don't know if you could have designate to that building the market, the involvement of many contractors. Listen to it. Let's go to the line first. Let's go to the line. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Hello?
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Good night, Mr. COP.
Good night to you, brother.
Uncle Lennox.
Yes, man.
Lennox, we're talking about that was in Amalco, and Amalco was in charge of Bal's house, was bringing all the cement and thing.
Well, of course, mouth open, Tory jump out. You go ahead, my friend.
You know, Junior Sam is one of the biggest contractors for the PNM. When PNM lost them, for us crying, you know, right now, them on that crisis right now. You know,
Oh, yes, indeed. No doubt. Just as the building itself, it under stress.
Right now, the workers, the news all over, they ain't getting paid too, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
Lennox, I sent some information and things. I don't like to come and lamb and scam down the boy. Like, you know, watch your WhatsApp post and things about.
Boy, these days the phone getting some trouble, so you'll forgive me, but I will check it. Yeah, I'll check it.
I'm not talking to one of my partners who walk with me, the unit crying in my head, right? 3-4 me more. Every night, every day, you call me. You get paid, get paid, and this and that and thinking that's just let me get no money. You trying to frustrate me more.
All right. I'll tell you.
You don't say new information there for me, but we waiting to see what's going on. And one of those things, Lennox, I tell you, boy, I glad for the opportunity, you know, Lennox.
I know.
Because I would actually think, boy, I can't go through all that shop, boy, get up walking out 4 or 5 in the morning and going out there and try to work by going no pay.
Yeah. It's not you alone. Around here, it's supposed to be at the same problem.
Summertime closing, summertime coming just now. But
Yeah.
tomorrow,
I hear them talk shows and talk city Kingsley. They say that better days are coming. So whole strain now, better days are coming.
Right, okay. All right, let's hear that again.
Into those accounts have reportedly found that it was quite clear the magistrate was living beyond their means and possessed substantial unexplained wealth when compared with his lawful income. The intelligence report details cash transactions conducted in the United States and deposits made into the accounts. Politicians, contractors under probe too. In addition to the magistrate's imminent arrest, the Express was informed that further arrests are expected as investigations continue into certain political operatives, businessmen, and contractors allegedly involved in large-scale corruption linked to the construction of a well-known building in the capital city. This report details cash transactions conducted in the United States and deposits made into the accounts. Politicians, contractors under probe too. In addition to the magistrate's imminent arrest, the Express was informed that further arrests are expected as investigations continue into certain political operatives, businessmen, and contractors allegedly involved in large-scale corruption linked to the construction of a well-known building in the capital city. These individuals have reportedly been named in intelligence reports, and several are expected to be detained for questioning in the coming weeks as the investigation progresses. Local law enforcement agencies have been actively investigating the project and have already amassed a paper trail of large cash and check transactions connected to the construction. The investigations are being conducted under several pieces of legislation, including the Unexplained Wealth provisions of the Civil Asset Recovery and Management and Unexplained Wealth Act. Preliminary investigations have allegedly uncovered evidence that funds connected to the construction project originated from specified offenses and that there is evidence suggesting the contract sums were artificially reduced. Investigators also believe there is evidence suggesting that certain contractors, including some who are political operatives, received favorable state contracts from which they financially benefited and, in turn, provided inducements. The law and corruption. Several laws in Trinidad and Tobago empower police and other investigative...
So that's a legal basis that the police will be using that section of it. But I want to pause here because we are running out of time. But I want to also say this finally. that the same contractor that I had cause to question as to the commandeering of part of Tranquility Government Secondary School's premises, the northern side, of course it will be south of Bal House car park, where this multi-million monstrosity of steel, concrete, cement, wire, etc. was being constructed. I had that particular contractor just before the election of the 28th of April. I saw, and how I knew, because there was no name of the contractor on the office, the site office, but it was painted in black and red, and it was constructed in such a way where you have one 40-foot container on top of another one to act to improvise as an office. Well, I suddenly saw the same office, the same improvised office, just beyond the flyover in Picton there, just before the flyover in Picton, yes. And in other words, to be more specific, where citrus growers' business was. And I saw it there, so it attracted my attention because I knew that office was on the southern side of Bal House. So I went to Bal House to see if it is still there. Just to confirm whether it's the same contractor in essence. And it turned out to be so. So they were given a handsome multi-million-dollar contract to construct a set of apartment buildings on that site. And I see that it has been stalled. Well, for obvious reasons. Because I did my due diligence and informed the ministry, and the minister in particular, I believe, of that development. And I don't know, but if it was as a consequence of my intervention, I want to say well done, because that level of nepotism, that level of cronyism must be a thing of the past. And I will not have any doubt that the principals of that particular entity would be subjected to some kind of white-collar investigations as well. COP, I think we have done yeoman service to the population. Yes, to the population and to our country tonight by getting them aware that the white-collar aspect of the thing that was being bandied about on the campaign trail is about to explode and being, of course, manifested in your domain.
Promise
your
made.
closing mark. Your closing remarks.
Promise made. Promise kept. Nadia, good night to you. Thanks for being part of the corridor transformation. Giaola, thanks. Good night to you. June, good night to you. Duke, good night to you. Good night to you, to all of you on that locked on the corridor transformation. Thanks for being part of the corridor transformation. Good night, and share it, subscribe, press that notification button so that every time the program comes on, you will be a part of the program. Like and subscribe. Be part of the program. I think we do human service tonight. Lennox Smith, we're not doing this. I'm not saying this for no support of no government, but as human beings, we have to stand up for what is right.
That's right. Let's take a final call before you conclude your departure address. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Pleasant good night to you, Professor Lennox Smith, and your co-host, the COP.
9.14?
Yes.
I just want to put you on to be a notice. You see that earthquake will take place in Venezuela? We have one coming our way, but this one is a political earthquake. Make sure I'm up on tin food stock up, because we're we don't get a real shake up here in this place. The UNC government going and create its own political earthquake in this place against the PNL. Lockdown on the slave.
Thank you very much.
Against,
That is a
against the
perfect
wrongdoers.
climax. Yeah?
Against the wrongdoers.
Yes, but that's a perfect climax to tonight's program.
Yes,
Continue with your closing remarks.
To end it off. The government need to do what they have to do to have a safe country. When we look at this country, we look at every year 4,000-5,000 little children being raped and bugged. They need to clean up that. When we look at 65% of the school population suffering from low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, also 65% of them failing. We need to fix those things. And the only way for we to fix those things is to get rid of the white-collar crime, the blue-collar crime, misconduct in public office, so we'll have the resources to fix those things. Lennox Smith, if we don't get rid of those wrongdoers, we will be in more problem. Or most, let me say 65% of our economy and our wealth, the fat of this land, when it's supposed to be the future of this land, it going in 1%, big shot people pocket. We need for that to stop and let that money trickle down to the poor and the needy, the underprivileged. The people them that the politicians take a constitutional oath and a political responsibility to assist the vulnerable and those are in need. That is why we have to get rid of the wrongdoers. Misconduct in public office, eradicate that, and you have a good country. Wrongdoers in your country, get rid of them, and you have a perfect country. Tanti Kamala, you're doing a good work, but you need to see about your activists and them. You need to tell them MPs and them, work with those activists and them, the people them that work with you all for 10 years straight. Work with you from 2010 to 2015. Work with you for the past 10 years under the People's National Movement, fighting, struggling with you, doing without to give support. You need to have your ministers and them address those things that these activists and them going through. Plenty of those activists and them crying. Yes, we are crying. We under pain, pressure, and problem. And it's one alternative. Our party that we had confidence in need to have confidence in us now and give support us now. Lennox Smith,
well said, my friend. And of course, let me just conclude with this. Of course, this is graduation time for many of our young people. Well, right here on George Street, we have quite a number of young persons who will be leaving school, exiting the secondary system. So therefore, the end of their school life, most of them, some will be going back to school. But of course, we have some graduations that are taking place, and I have the responsibility to beg, to ask, to beseech that those of you who can, I don't have the number across the screen, trying to get it before, but you can call me, well, the same number, 337-6940. I suppose that's why we probably had less calls tonight, because I omitted to put the numbers on screen, but the number to call, 337-6840. Yes, 337-6940. 337-6940, and of course you can call me directly to get some assistance for those young people who leave in school and we want to send them off feeling good, having come to the end of their secondary school life, and we want to make sure that they have, a pleasant experience, because, these things live with you forever, no matter how long you would have remained, and God would have given you, of course, the life on this earth. But certainly, these are some of the memorable occasions that people will have. And we want, of course, to make sure that in these poor communities, these depressed communities, these stressed communities, that the young people, at least as much as possible, benefit from that very, very august or auspicious occasion called a graduation. So contact me if you have any financial assistance. You may want to buy a pants, you may want to buy a shoes, whatever it is. If you prefer it that way, I have no difficulty with that. We will put the child in connection with you, and you feel good to know that you have a direct communication to helping, of course, a needy student in these parts of Trinidad and Tobago. So once again, call me at 337-6940, and as I said, I'll put you in contact with the child if you so wish. If not, I will collect or whatever it is and make certain that we do what is required. Let me just take this final call. Let me take this final call. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Good night. Good night, Mr. Lennox and Safe. I don't know if you could have telling us I'm going to go out and do it tomorrow morning.
Yes, man.
Lennox,
hey.
I was saying the Honorable Minister Muscady Shaman to shape up the constituency with, because you know that have go up online for the book grant and this grant and all kind of the book grant right now.
Yeah.
You have you have that in your constituency where people can pass and we can check who so you can
Yeah, you can apply from here. Yeah, we have a computer at the resource center, the MLIO Resource Center, right here on George Street, 55 George Street, where you can come and we have someone here, but you have to come from around, let's say, I would say 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, because the person will be coming in around that time, because employment is scarce and they get something to do, so I don't have them available for morning.
They don't like the full care we set up for wait till 5 years plus.
Yeah, all of that. But as I said, I'm going to damn well pursue it regardless. Yeah, but
social development,
yeah, but that's all right. That's all right. Patience is virtue. Patience is virtue, man, and good things come to those who wait.
Something wrong. Lennox,
hey.
Too good by Lennox, but I don't understand.
Yeah. Okay, my friend. Yeah. I understand the frustration. And why not? Why not? It's only natural. People who, their belly hurting. You can't talk about grass growing while people starving. What they could die before they get the grass that was growing. How does that equate? How is that rationalized? So there's some people who are going to gripe.
Lennox, you say something.
Go ahead.
You say something just now over there, and you have me thinking, especially when you ask the general public just now to if you want to sponsor pants, if you want to sponsor a school shirt, you want to sponsor a dozen books and them. Let me tell the general public something. We have rights to it. All of you in foreign outside of what that listen to the corridor transformation, there are young youths in this country depend on your assistance, especially the PNM areas that the PNM neglect for 20-something and 30-something and 40-something years, that the PNM's listeners and supporters listening to the program, you all can show some sympathy and some support, and you all have Lennox Smith number there. How hard it is for you all to give support to a vulnerable child, a needy child, one who want to learn in school and need a pants, a shoes, and 2-3 books. You all on the chat and viewers of Corridor Transformation, you all can assist with knowing that little children in your country need assistance, and you keep a blind eye, knowing that you have an extra dollar in your pocket. That is not no difference than what the PNM doing. Assist in time of need. It is worthy to the future of the community and the future of our country. Don't sit down with your money in your pocket and tell yourself, I have, and me a given. Many people have. Many people have, and they think that way, and they become greedy. Today they don't have. All to you, Lennox.
Yes, indeed, my friend. I think that is wisdom. That is, of course, advice for those who are so inclined to accept. Because let's face it, you have the vulnerable among us. You have those who really cannot make it, and when you have people like us who are prepared to put their reputation and their life and their money where their mouth is, because this program, for example, requires money. And so we have been able to do that in the interest of these individuals. And all we are asking you to do is to do your part. Every night you listen to us, yes, that is good, but you need to be a little more tangible, and that is where we are going. We need to be a little more tangible. You need to be a little more understanding as to whether or not you are able to make the contribution that is required in order to save the future and save Trinidad and Tobago. I think that is essentially what this is all about. And when we do that, yes, I'm trying to get at the same time the number up on screen, so you'll forgive me why, of course, I'm talking. I'm trying to get the number at the same time. All right, so I think I may have gotten it. Yes. So people, it is important that we recognize. I mean, it's a bit large, but I think we can. I think we have done a
and all you put that number on your phone. Save it as Lennox Smith.
Yes, man. Right. So that's the number that is coming across your screen now. So we want to thank you very much for being a very good audience, for listening. There has not been much calls. I suppose that is a measure as to how poignant, how relevant, how clear, how pellucid the information would have been as compared maybe to others who may be talking a little more jumbled. But clearly, we are very, very clear in our minds as to the information that we disseminate on a nightly basis. And I want, once again, I cannot overemphasize or over-thank COP for his volunteerism. Yes, it's a voluntary thing. But he has to spend money on his own equipment as well in order to get these programs off to you. So do not believe that we are asking for asking sake, but it is always for a
this is cost you all kind of $1,000 and $1,200 a month.
I'm telling you, yeah, our two internet want to serve the people out there.
For a political party that show no appreciation.
Yes. Yes, man. So people, we don't want to overemphasize, but I think you got the gist. You got the background. And I expect that in the not too distant future, people will be calling. Of course, we only have maybe the first week in next month. So please call. And there are two numbers there, in fact, that you can call. My assistant will also be available 24/7 to take your calls and whatever contribution you may wish to make for these young people who we want to give them a good send-off and to make secondary school life one of a memorable nature for them. So that is the whole essence of it. We will be, of course, engaging in the book drive and so on, back to school, etc. So that's the other number here, 336-6594, 336-6594. That's my assistant. You can call her anytime, because that is the commitment we have given to the cause that is the downtrodden and those who are in a sense, exhibiting less advantageous positions than most people. Right? So, without further ado, of course, we have come to the end of tonight's program. And I want to say, well, just as we started, I think we had to demonstrate that there is a money crunch. And, well, not so, but I'm being sarcastic here. A money crunch for those who believe that they would have gotten away with fleecing and stealing from the state and believe that justice will not visit them. Well, It is just a matter of time. All right? So let's see if we could remind them that to be greedy, to be
it's a crime.
Yes, to be sinful, as COP would like to say, or to be getting what you do not deserve, or you have orchestrated by way of conspiracy and
To be
otherwise.
mischievous,
Yes, man.
with the public purse,
Yes,
to
man.
benefit your wife and your children and your family and friends and family. It is illegal in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
And therefore,
And
you
with
have
good
to be
leadership,
wise.
with good leadership, you will be held accountable.
Wonderful. People, this is it.
Ay, 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 ay. I'm on the worries.
Choice song, boy. Choice song.
Oh, yo, 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 yo. I'm on the worries. I'm on the trouble. Anywhere you go, it's the same.
You hear the members? Many of you dip your hands in your pocket over the last 13 years. 13 years we have been raising necessary funds to make sure that our party builds a modern headquarters on land that our party obtained way back in the last century. As your political leader, alongside my colleagues, we work very hard and we work very lawfully and we build up the resources. And today, your party is close to completing the construction of a brand new multi-story building at Hadid House, built after 13 years of toil. And we are renovating the old building at the same time. You would think that anybody who is decent will say to a 68-year-old party, well done, because you believe in this country's future. But no one, there is some sales this year, when somebody else sells the next year, they do a party next year. They know that one day soon, we will all gather in the street, and you will look right and look action at the beginning of this. And in that day, when a new party headquarters is open, it will be a plus for the party, it will be a plus for the country. Then all of you know, all of them, without one shred of evidence that they can present to anybody, they start a narrative that contractors and government property in Bal House. Would you believe that? And that is meant to tarnish the effort that you have made for the last 13 years. I want to ask you in the dance today, who call him an appealing political leader to make public the names of all the contributors. What I want to do is for me to tell them, you give 1,000 to harass your daughter if she's working. You give $1 million to harass your company. I will tell them today, I have no accounts to give to Rodney and the UNC and the PI